Auction time. This is the 3W series auction. 3W01. This blade I started on video and I finished it off camera because I was having a hard time with the damage control on this one, getting rid of the lumps and sharpening the edge. I lost quite a bit of the width, but I don't think I lost much on the length. Let's see. 6 inches almost exactly. And then it's 2 inches wide. Yeah, so it's a heat treat, Georgia chert, coastal plains, Flint River, whichever one you want to call it. Nice piece, but for some reason I was just having a very hard time adapting to this material, so I had a very hard time with the damage control. And I had a big old step right there that I finally was able to push out of there, but it looks like I pushed it out of there. So there's that. Otherwise, I was able to get the edge thinned down. It's thicker on the back than on the front. I ground down this area here, starting from right there all the way around to right there. So this is ground, not heavily, but just enough to get rid of the sharpness in the hafting area and right there where your finger might touch the blade. Okay, all right. Now that's the only blade I have, or the only point, so to speak, in the whole auction. So here come the boxes. All right. 3W02. This is a box of Obsidian bifaces. And there's one piece of triple flow in here. That's the only piece of triple flow. All these other pieces are a black obsidian that is actually quite brittle, but it looks really nice when you finish knapping it. Some of it has bands in it and some of it doesn't. This one is just a broken biface I included in here, but most of these are thinned down pretty much. You can kind of see the translucency a little bit there. I was thinning these down very quickly last night and I messed this one up, as you can see here. I just want to let you know, just so you're aware, these two are broken. Okay, so this one has a couple of cracks in it here and there, and it was all crunchy on this side, so I couldn't do anything with it. I started taking off some bigger flakes and I found that the edge is too thin for big strikes, because it is kind of a brittle material, but it feels really nice. It feels like a mahogany obsidian, that sort of consistency. All right, let's see this one here. So these are all going to be bifaces. This one's 5 3/8 by 2 3/4, thin down. And you know, I start my week off by making a bunch of bifaces and thinning down the material. These are all of the large pieces of obsidian that I had. They're in this box now. I biface them down and try to thin them down. You can finish these off with pressure, pretty much. You may want to take a couple more flakes if you dare. I don't dare go much thinner than that on this particular type of obsidian. It is very brittle, but it has banding in it. You just can't see it very well. So it's got light and dark streaks. Four 7/8 by 2 3/8, 5 1/4, 2 3/4. I don't dare go thinner than this on this kind of obsidian. 4 1/8, 2 3/8. This one's a little bit thicker. These smaller ones are more crude than the larger ones. 3 1/4. 2 3/8. Yeah, these smaller ones are easier to thin down, so you can probably thin them down. That's why I left them kind of thick. If you wanted to thin them down, it's not too difficult. 3 3/8 by 2 1/8. All right, so we've got, let's see, how many total? We got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 9 pieces. Okay. This triple flow is 3.5 inches long. Okay. Very delicate stuff, except the triple flow. Triple flow is probably the nicest obsidian you can get. All right. W03. This one is a box of broken bifaces. This is a completed knife, but I consider it a broke because it has that inclusion in it, that big patch of concrete. This is Texas chert, Central Texas. It's not a heat treat. This is raw, I believe. Yeah, this is a raw piece. It's ground down. The handle is ground down. I was going to use it for myself. You know, I've got stuff that I've saved up for myself, but I'm never going to use it, so I'll let you guys have it. Oh yeah, let's see. How long is this? 8 5/8. So yeah, it's made for my hands. My hands are small, so this knife is going to look bigger than it actually is. All right, so it's made for me. I like the handles thick. I like the blades thick. I like the blades to taper down, but not be too thin. I really don't like thin blades if I'm going to use them. All right. And just a variety of pieces. This is raw Texas chert. This is a lower grade heat treated Burlington. It's lower grade because it has inclusions in it. Otherwise it naps all right. This is a piece of heat treated Keokuk, but it's lightly heated. It's not heavily heated. It's not as glass like as it looks. It's a little bit tough. So I like it when it's lightly heated, and that's what this is. All right. This is, I think, is a piece of raw Burlington or something. I don't know where this came from. I just took a few pieces off, and I said, "Yep, this is raw." So it's going to be tough. I don't know where I got it from. This is a piece of heat treat of this variety of chert, Central Texas. Some call it Belton, right, or something similar to Belton chert. But it's Medina County stuff. Let's see. Do I have another one of that? Yeah, this is. These two are heat treats. This one is not, but it's the same material. Okay. This one is a Texas chert heat treat. This one I got from a batch at the last Knapping. Well, not the last one, but the second to last Knapping I went to. They say this is from Kentucky. It has a slight oil smell, very slight, and it looks and acts a lot like hornstone. So it could be a type of hornstone or whatever. Anyway, it's not a Texas chert. It's from Kentucky or West Virginia, or no, let's see. Let me think about this. I'm already forgetting. It was a late night last night. I think this is from Kentucky. Yeah. All right. Anyway, it was a bigger piece. It was kind of chunky, and I thinned it down. You could thin it more than this, of course, but It naps well if you develop good striking areas. Otherwise, it gets very steppy. Yeah, if you lose any power in the strike whatsoever, it'll act up. Okay. This one I broke this week, just bifacing, and I was in the process of making a knife out of it, hoping that this would not interfere with it, but it did. I thought that chalk or limestone on the inside wasn't going to be an issue, but it turned out to be. Anyway, this one here is the same obsidian as the previous box, but I just included it in this box because it's a broken one. I took a big bite out of this by accident, and I was in the process of reshaping, but I said, nah, we'll just stick it in the box of broken bifaces. This is Georgia Jasper, heated to 500 degrees by Jeff Head. Jeff Head sent me a bunch of stone that I purchased from him, and this was included in it. And I was bifacing this down, and I was going to make something out of it, but no time this week. As usual, this is the same thing. 2 pieces of Georgia Jasper, 500 degrees. This one naps better than this one. So same temperature, same material, but this one on my left naps better than the one on the right. All right. This one is a piece of coral, and I was snapping it and broke it, so this is included in the box. This is something I did many years ago, or something, because it was in my landscaping in my yard, so I just included it in it. Long lost piece. This is Jasper, Georgia Jasper, also of the same variety as these other two. Heat treat. Now this one looks like it'll be very, very nice to nap. Probably better than this one. So it goes best, okay, and kind of tough. This is still kind of dry and rough to nap. I was able to take off some big flakes, so it's not too bad. But it has some spots in it that you can see that are going to be kind of rough. It has inclusions, little crystal pockets and stuff. All right. What other sizes? Well, the width of the box here is 5.5, so you can kind of gauge. But this is 4 1/8, 3 7/8, 3 1/8, 4 1/8. 3 7/8, 3.5, 3, 3 1/4, 3 3/8. I don't know, about 3, 3 1/4, 4 3/4. You already know this one. 4.5, 3.5, and 2 3/4. All right. $3W04. This is a box of Georgia swirly chert heat treats, 400 degrees. And these pieces have a lot of character, but also they're going to be difficult to nap. They're not going to be cooperative. See that? Just got some cracks in it. It doesn't look like they go all the way through, so you can probably thin that out. You know, in the process of thinning, you can try to get that out. But these are all heat treats, so they're going to cooperate a little bit better than the raw state. All right, let's measure these. 4 1/4. Excuse me. 5.5. I cannot measure when I'm sleepy. 5 5/8. 5 3/8. This one's kind of chunky. This one's also a lot tougher than most heat treats. Even though it's 400 degrees, it's still pretty tough. It feels like a raw piece. So this stuff will vary. Some of it will gloss up and be very easy to nap at 400, and some of it won't. Like the first piece I showed, nice and glossy, easy to knap, and this not so much, but same temperature. Okay, same temperature heat treat, 4.5 and 4 5/8, something like that. This has a big old bad spot in it right there, so it'll be challenging, but the colors make it worthwhile, I think. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bifaces in this batch. Okay. W05, a box of heat treats. Again, this is also Georgia chert, swirly type chert, but it's a higher grade than the previous box. 5 1/4, 5, 4 7/8, 4 1/4, 4 7/8, and 6 1/4. So yeah, this is Georgia chert, coastal plains, Flint River, swirly chert, whichever one you want to call it. And some of it is butterscotchery on one side and swirly on the other. Okay, so it's got a mix. Like on this one, it's a mix. This one has got a mix as well. You'll find butterscotchery parts and swirly parts. And you'll see some challenges, but this is for the most part a high grade material. Higher grade than the previous box. All right. So yeah, I bifaced a bunch of this stuff, and now I'm selling the bifaces. Let's see. This one might be a challenge. I'm not sure exactly if it's completely clear. It might have some issues. They don't look like they go all the way through. I try not to include bifaces that have chalk or limestone all the way through. This one might be able to be thinned out. This piece here, this piece of limestone. There's also a little hole right there. I think that might be able to be thinned out when you're thinning this. So I don't know how many bifaces that was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 bifaces. Okay. W06, a box of Georgia heat treat, Georgia chert heat treat, mostly swirly stuff, and there might be a piece or two in here that's raw, maybe, but for the most part, these are heat treats, and some are mine, and some are stuff that I purchased. As far as material, I don't purchase flakes. I purchase the nodules and the spalls, and then I flake them down, make bifaces. This is the result of bifacing, and I'll heat the flakes myself if they're not already heated. And the flakes range in size from, I think this is the longest one, this is one representative of the shortest. They range in size. Anyway, it's a full box, and a box like this usually is almost 3 pounds of stuff, right? It ranges from between 2 pounds 11 ounces to 3 pounds, depending on the density of the chert or flint. Okay. Okay, last but not least, 3W07. I'm going to try this out here. This is a box that fits into a medium flat rate box, and it contains 17 pounds of stone. All right, I can fit about 17 or 18 pounds of stone into these boxes that I purchased just for this particular experiment. I think it says the size on the bottom here. Yeah, 10 inches by 8 inches by 5 inches. 10 by 8 down here, 8 across, and 10, and then 5 inches high. Let's see. Yeah. And this particular box has all heat-treated, clunky, swirly chert for the most part. Heat-treated, various temperatures from 400 to 475. So this is, I've just been saving up a bunch of these clunkers to maybe to do videos with and so forth, but I'm just accumulating way too much of it, so I'm going to let some of it go. So these are all clunky pieces. There's some bifaces, but sometimes these defects go all the way through. So I call that a clunker or a chunker, whatever, right? They're difficult and challenging to knap because of the shapes. The material is really good. For the most part, it's pretty good. Some of it's going to be rough, even though it's heat treated. It doesn't act like a heat treat. Like this one here was not acting much like a heat treat, although I did heat treat it. So yeah, they're all, I'm going to try to, they're different sizes. See that? So they range from about 2 inches long to about 4 1/4. All right, so I'm going to experiment with this. I'm going to be probably selling more of these large boxes that contain 17 or 18 pounds of material. It's going to be at least 17 pounds. What I'll do is I weigh it on my bathroom scale until it gets to 17 pounds, and then I add a few more in just to be sure. A few more pieces. That's what I did on this one, and that's what I'll do in the future. So I've got a lot of clunky material of various cherts and flints, heat treat and raw. So I'll be offering that in the future, like this. All right. Rules. Bid in the comments section under one of my pre-populated comments. This means that you will be replying to one or more of my comments. My pre-populated comments will contain the item number, a timestamp where the item appears in the video, and a short description. I will like your comment if I see it. Sometimes comments are not always visible. It may take me a while to like your comment, but as the time approaches the end of the auction, I will check more frequently. Try not to bid at the last minute. I'm using YouTube's time tracker and it's not always accurate. It can be up to 2 minutes off. Please be aware of this. Shipping is free in the US. International shipping is discounted but not free. I will add the following amounts. For post office first class package, plus $10. Other countries, plus $20. Small priority flat rate box, plus $20. Other countries, plus $30. Medium priority flat rate box, Canada $40. Other countries, plus $50. International rates often change. I might need to charge more than this. All right, so yeah, these things fluctuate. Sometimes there are areas of Canada that don't have a cheaper rate. So this is standard right here, and I will apply this. If it's really, really expensive, I usually just eat the cost, but we'll work it out. All right. I will provide tracking numbers. I accept PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, checks, or money orders. I can also email you an electronic invoice that you can pay with a card. Winners will be announced starting at 9:01 p.m. Eastern Time, which means that's 8 Central, 7 Mountain, or 6 Pacific. I will reply to your winning bid with sold, thank you, item price. Please email me your name, address, etc. jackcrafty2@gmail.com. This is very important. Keep an eye on the replies. If you win, I'm going to reply to your win with this little cut and paste message. You need to email me your information if you've not done business with me before. And then you include your real name, your YouTube name, or anything else that can identify you so I know who to send the item to. And don't forget your address. There is a more complete description of the rules in the description box below. If you have any questions, please email me at jackcrafty2@gmail.com. Don't forget the jackcrafty. Don't forget the 2. All right. Yes, I think someone had a difficulty emailing me, and I couldn't remember the issue. If you have issues emailing me, just keep trying on YouTube, I guess. You can reply to me in the YouTube comments, and I'll check if somehow you're not able to email me. All right. If you don't know how to bid, or you're confused, or you just don't get it, I have a demonstration in Auction 3J. Just go back into the past into my videos. If you don't know how to go back into the past into my videos, then I don't know what to tell you. But go to Auction 3J. It has a demo on my tablet. So you should be able to figure it out from there. If you can't, just email me. Please look at my previous auctions to see how they work. If you are not able to reply or comment, you will not be able to bid. If you don't know how to reply or comment, please practice on another one of my videos. I will work with you via email if you're having issues with comments or replies. Yeah, some people don't usually comment or reply or like or do any kind of interaction with YouTube other than watch the videos. If you're in that boat, just send me an email. Hopefully you've got email. Or you can send me an Instagram message. I get most of my communications from Instagram, text, and email. I prefer email so everything's in one spot. But I get Facebook messages, I get Instagram messages, I get texts, I get YouTube replies and comments. I mean, I get stuff from everywhere, so it's best that you email me. Okay? All right, it's 4th of July tomorrow. I'm going to be shipping on Wednesday. And it's usually Wednesdays that I do my shipping anyway. So just be aware, it's going to probably be a slight delay this time because of 4th of July weekend. All right, hope you guys have a good weekend and good luck.